bigger. And that's just something that's going off in my head, and I didn't know if maybe you had any insight on that.
I agree with that. It is a distraction, and the chaos is deliberately manufactured, and I believe that.
Folks, the number to call if you have any questions, 914-803-4151. That's 914-803-4151. I'd love to hear you. Have any comments or questions for AC Griffith? By all means, give a call. We'd love to have you. Go ahead, Griff.
I wish we could.
I have a question for Griff. There seems to be a little bit of a discussion in the chat room, Joe, about chemtrails. Some people actually don't believe in chemtrails. They think it's all, there's that word again, conspiracy. Griff, you worked on the chemtrail project. Would you mind explaining to some of our newer listeners who don't understand the difference between a chemtrail and an actual contrail? And what they're used for, or at least what they were used for when you worked on the project?
Sure. The project is managed out of Wright-Patterson, and it is a Navy program. It's called the Radio Frequency Mission Planner, RFMP. Do a Google search for RFMP. It is designed for a sub-program within the RFMP called the VTRPE. VTRPE. And it is a aerosol, primarily barium salt, that creates a ducting over land terrain, ducting. It actually works on the RF frequencies over land terrain and enables the Radio Frequency Mission Planner, a Navy system on aircraft carriers primarily in the early days, to play war games and conduct battlefield in real time with computer systems. The RFMP system can play the battle before, during, and after on computer screens with all of the mathematical data, and it's presented on data screens. They call them data screens in 3-dimension. So you have the ultimate control over battlefield imaging and direction and guidance and manipulation of troops. You can see the enemy and on the other side of mountains, for instance, in 3-dimension, and all of the numbers and distances and so on are there. You can also pick up high-frequency radio signals from your enemy stations over the curvature of the Earth with the ducting that you've created. So you can listen to communications that you ordinarily could not here on the battlefield, and it goes on and on like that. But it is a Radio Frequency Mission Planner, and it still prevails over the United States, North America, so the military could use it against militias anytime they wanted to.
Well, that's a pretty vivid description. Now, I know that that Cliff Carnicom has done a ton of research into chemtrails, and folks, anybody that wants to go and see any information on chemtrailing, I think it's one of the most comprehensive sites on the topic, and one that you can get much more information on, and that's at www.carnicom.com. And Cliff Carnicom, like I said, has been researching this for years, and what he's come to find out is that it's not only the aerosols of barium and aluminum, but he's collected samples of dried red blood cells that are being sprayed on people. So it's not just I think it's evolved, would you say, Griff, from its origins, from the actual, what chemtrails started from?
We've known Clifford for the last 10, 11 years and have worked with Clifford out in Santa Fe, New Mexico. He's concentrating on Magellan's disease right now, mainly the polymer fibers that are showing up. Now, the polymer fibers can be traced back to DARPA contracts. They fluoresce different colors in the skin. They wind around muscle tissue and inside of the skin and drives you a little crazy with the itching and so on. There's no cure for that. They're made out of polymers, and they have little hooks on the end of them. It is assumed that they come out of the chemtrail aircraft. There is no hard proof on that. It wouldn't surprise me neither would private aircraft flying aerosol, and that wouldn't surprise me either. I don't know which one. It could very well be coming out of the chemtrail aircraft. But the primary reason is the RFMP. That was then, and it is today. But there's other things in the atmosphere that are lethal, and Clifford is identifying a lot of that. All of our blood has been modified by the aerosols. Everybody's blood.
Griff, if I'm just a regular old Joe somewhere in the country and I look up and I see this airplane shooting this stuff out the back and two airplanes side by side, one airplane is shooting a trail and it's dissipating rather quickly and the other airplane's drawing a line from horizon to horizon. And I become aware that plane that's drawing that line that's not dissipating may be a chemtrail, and I wait until, say, the next day. How do I get it to where I can take it somewhere and analyze it, and who would I take it to, and what would they be looking for?
Well, I just told you. You have to know what you're looking for before you can look for it in a laboratory, pretty much. You're wasting your time. That was a question that was asked 10 years ago. Right now, all of your effort, and I say this with loving kindness, all of your effort should be on protecting yourself and your family. And the main thing is to stock food and a lot of toilet paper and tampons and things like that. You'll be the most popular person on the block if you have a good stock of all of these things. You cannot have too many. Fill your house up with food, and that's what you should be concentrating on right now, because it's almost upon us.
I am listening to what you're saying, but I'm paying attention to the chat room, and I see people asking, well, how can I tell if I'm being chemtrailed, and how can I collect a sample, and so forth.
Good luck.
So
good luck. It's a waste of time. It's just a waste of time. Why would you want to do that? We did that 10 years ago.
Oh, right. No, I think it's more so for themselves. You know, it's a lot of people need validation.
Well, it's too late for that. It's not enough time.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, all I can tell you is if you want validation, look up in the sky.
Yeah.
And let your eyes see things for what they are. A chemtrail, most times you can watch them, and I see it all the time, where the sprayer turns on and turns off. You can see it happen. You can't do that with a contrail if they're at a constant altitude or where it is, you know. And I'm sorry, but if you want to take a look too, there's websites out there that have charts that show dissipation rates of contrails at certain altitudes, at certain temperatures. So you can also use that. And I'm telling you, folks, it's not, it's common sense. If you have science that says water vapor at this height and this altitude dissipates this fast.
Did you hear what I just explained about the program out of Wright-Patterson?
Yes, sir.
Why go any further? Why try to get material to analyze? I just told you the answer. We got into the program. We're the only people in the world that got inside the program.
Absolutely right.
Yep.
Absolutely right. And let me tell you, Griff, it's great to have somebody like you to be able to get this information out and to enlighten people as to this. And this is just one of many, many, many things that go on that I mean, really, when you think about it, Griff, before you know this kind of stuff, you're living in your bubble. And then you come to find out that life is really 180 degrees out of phase from what you thought it was.
Sure.
Would you say that that's an accurate...
Oh, yes, absolutely. Everybody's reality is different, and the reality is based on your life experience. And the people that have lived in sheltered environments have no concept of what reality is. They think they know the reality, but it's not. It's not at all.
It truly isn't. That's absolutely right. And just how much our surroundings are being manipulated and how much what is actually going on in the world is not going on. Now, John, it looks as though we have some callers on the line, so I'm going to start bringing them in. Let's see if I can do this. My screw board's going a little bit screwy, right? Let's see here. Area code 304. I have you on the show. Go ahead.
Yeah, how you